Hello everyone, I know I have been gone a while and I warned you guys, I told you guys that I was going on vacation, and after I came back from vacation in South Africa I was just so burnt out, but I did watch Miss Namibia, which is what we are going to be talking about today, because guys, I have never been so satisfied with a Miss Namibia competition, maybe ever. Don't get me wrong, there were some hiccups, there were some technical issues as usual. I mean, I don't know who the sound guy was, but that guy deserves a demotion, definitely. And also, shout out to the host, because the Miss Namibia organization did call out auditions this year, for hosts, and you can just tell that the hosts of this year's pageant, they're so professional, and also they are clearly a fan of pageantry, because there was not a single cue card in sight, or very minimal use of cue cards, which I always appreciate. I mean, this isn't grade 7 oral speech, this is Miss Namibia, and so I want to see as little use of cue cards as possible. I did enjoy the hosts a lot. I don't know what they were getting paid, but they need to get paid more, because those people were operating so well under chaos, and they just handled the pressure of hosting Miss Namibia very, very well. Getting into the pageant itself, of course, the stage, in my opinion, the stage for a Miss Namibia pageant was satisfactory. If we compare it to the stages of 2018, 2019, there has definitely been a step up in the production value of Miss Namibia ever since NBC has officially taken over as the majority shareholder of Miss Namibia, which I do obviously appreciate. The camera angles for me were satisfactory. There was this one weird angle when it came to swimsuit, which sort of went skew, but you know what, I'll forgive because overall the production value was fine. I could see what was happening, which is my standard for Miss Namibia. Okay, if you know, you know. If you've been following Miss Namibia since the Samsung E250 camera days, then you know this year was a huge step up in terms of production, and I'm actually pretty sad that I didn't attend Miss Namibia in person this year, because like I said before, I was very satisfied with the results of Miss Namibia. But before we get into that, we have to talk about, in my opinion, one of the most amazing sections of Miss Namibia, which is the evening gown sections. Now, as per usual at Miss Namibia, there were some hits, some misses, some questionable gowns. But let's start with the very first girl who came up, which was actually my favorite in gown, Ausha Abrams. I thought that this girl absolutely killed it when it came to gown. She was best in gown, in my opinion, for me. But then we have to talk about the girl who eventually won, Jameela. Her gown, I have to say, it was okay. It was just very ill-fitting, in my opinion. It didn't, wrap her body and fit her as perfectly as I would have liked it. Also, the thing on the shoulder made it very awkward, especially when it came time for her to be sashed, because at first the sash was just sitting on top of this big fat thing on her shoulder, which was literally as big as her head. But my one major gripe with her gown was the fit of the gown. I don't know if she maybe lost some weight since fitting this gown, or if maybe this gown was a replacement for something else she was supposed to be wearing. It just wasn't giving the same as her prelims gown was giving. But Jameela was still my favorite for the evening. She was still my favorite to win. I didn't get to put out my prediction. A lot of you guys DM'd me, and I actually just DM'd my prediction to some of you who asked. Jameela was definitely my winner. Another favorite of mine, of course, was Marta, who performed extraordinarily well. Marta has, it's not her first rodeo. She's competed at Miss Supranational Namibia, where she made top 6, I think, and then also she's competed at Miss Namibia before, but she didn't make it very far at all. I don't even think she made finals when she competed before. So for her to have won second runner-up, so amazing. And I can definitely see that this woman has such great potential. Of course, the first runner-up was the beautiful little Tina Haimbala, who we also know from Miss Supranational Namibia fame. I'm so glad to see that the new organizers of Miss Namibia don't necessarily hold it against contestants when they've competed elsewhere. Speaking of competing elsewhere, we got to see our Miss World Namibia, Lune van Jaarsveld, who is actually going to Miss World at the end of this year representing Namibia, and she just looked absolutely stunning. I'm telling you, the growth of this woman, I've known her for some years now. Obviously, she competed at Miss Supranational Namibia back in 2020, I believe, where she also made the top 6. The growth of this woman has been absolutely immense, and oh my goodness, I definitely actually, right, do I have to say something controversial? I think she should try for Miss Supranational Namibia again, because with the growth that she has shown, I definitely think that she could be the next Miss Supranational Namibia. I am so impressed with Leone's growth, and you know, knowing where she began, and she actually competed at Miss Namibia so long ago, back in 2018 even, and got into the top 12. Then she went over to Miss Supranational Namibia, top 6, and then obviously last year she was at Miss Namibia and made and was the runner-up. So obviously I'm just so obsessed with Leone's growth, and it just goes to show, don't give up, keep going. But I think after Miss World, if she doesn't win Miss World, of course, she should definitely try for Miss Supranational Namibia, because she could just slay the Miss Supranational stage at this point. So we also saw, of course, Diana Andimba, who represented Namibia at Miss Earth last year when she got into the top 20, which was amazing. It was so lovely to see her. Of course, Cassia, who was our Miss Namibia last year, also did her final walk. Absolutely loved her. And guys, I must just say, when the top 5 for Miss Namibia was called, I was so pleased, because literally all of my faves made it. We had Shazmida, we had Tina, we had Marta, we had Ausha, who I absolutely adored, and then obviously my big fave, Jameela. Now for me, my top 3 originally was Jameela and Marta and Ausha. But what ended up happening was the top 3 was Jameela and Marta and Tina, who was the first runner-up. Now, I've told you before, Miss Namibia holds the licenses to 3 international pageants, which is Miss Universe, Miss World, and Miss Earth right now. Now, I don't know whether or not this is going to change. Miss Universe does have a rule which states that the country that holds their license, or the organization that holds their license, have to hold a pageant, and then the winner of that pageant only has to go to Miss Universe. So if you are a national pageant owner and you hold multiple licenses, you can only send the winner of your pageant to Miss Universe. That is literally a new rule for Miss Universe. So we already know that Jameela is going to Miss Universe because she won Miss Namibia. But now, what about Tina and Marta? Because in my personal opinion, I feel like Tina is much more suitable to Miss Earth, even though she is the first runner-up, and Marta is much more suitable to Miss World, just judging by their personas and their personalities, obviously having gotten to know them through their stints at Miss Supranational Namibia, and also Marta has competed for a long time. So I've been watching Marta, for a while, and I can definitely say that she fits into what Miss World is looking for more, whereas Tina is more of a Miss Earth sort of personality, if not Miss Universe. So let me know what you guys think about that. Also, I know I must talk about this. A lot of you guys were leaning towards Ausha for the win, and I definitely concur that she was one of the strong contestants. Like I said before, when it came to evening gown, Ausha, the woman stunned. The woman stunned. She was so gorgeous and amazing. I don't know what to make of Ausha, because I definitely feel like you know, she is the type of girl that has her mind set on Miss Namibia and perhaps a pageant beyond Miss Namibia, an international pageant. So I won't necessarily encourage her to go for Miss Supranational Namibia, but I definitely feel like this woman has such great potential. And if she were to give up now, after having made top 5, that would be such a shame, because I did adore Aisha. And I just love the way she speaks as well. She has that really sort of middle English accent that Miss South Africa loves to go for. You know, she really doesn't have much of an English accent. You know, she doesn't have much of an accent, which I know the Miss South Africa organization loves, because listen to how all of the Miss South Africa girls speak. Miss South Africa, I've been saying this for years, they don't appreciate an accent. And this is nothing to do with race. It is on the whole racial spectrum. I think Rolene Strauss a couple of years back talked about in one of her YouTube videos how she competed at Miss South Africa in 2011, obviously, and she had this really strong Afrikaans Boer accent. And then she talked about how she had to go and work on her accents and improve her English accent, and she came back and she won Miss South Africa. So I definitely think in South Africa, Aisha would have done really well as well. I don't know where I was going to this. My point is, Aisha really has a lot of potential when it comes to pageantry, and I would hate for her to give up just because now, you know, she's already gotten into the top 5, which is already a big deal, but she needs to try again and again and again and again, because I absolutely adored her as well. Other than that, guys, there's not really much to say about Miss Namibia, except for why did they feel the need to sort of copy Miss Universe when it came to the whole swimsuit cape thing. I thought that was a bit cringe. You know, if you've been watching, if you follow all of the pageants, you can definitely tell when they copy each other. But someone who hasn't watched Miss Universe last year would probably not know about this cape thing, but I don't know. Just come up with something original, you know. But yes, that and all of these sound issues aside, I mean, literally, who was the sound guy? Who was the sound guy? Because if the sound didn't have so many issues, the Miss Namibia pageant, to me, I would have no complaints. But there were times where mics were off. Literally, a guy was doing half of his whole performance with the mic off. All you could hear was the background music, and when the sound suddenly came on, it was like, wow. this is insane. Okay, so if you watched Miss Namibia, please let me know what you guys think. I thoroughly enjoyed. I have no gripes with the winner. All I hope is that our current winner, because she does have the potential to place for Namibia at Miss Universe, I hope she takes direction, because you are never ready. Even standing there being crowned Miss Namibia, yes, you were ready to conquer Miss Namibia as a competition, but Miss Universe is 100 times harder. So you need all of the help, and I just hope she knows that. I hope that she can be humble and take Cassia's advice, and, you know, just be humble and appreciate the advice that her fellow team gives her and all of the efforts that they will go through on her behalf in order to make a big success of her stint at Miss Universe. So let me know what you guys think of Jameela winning. Would you guys have rather Aisha been in the top 3? And also, between Marta and Tina, who should go to Miss Universe, who should go to Miss World, and who should go to Miss Earth? I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.